Hello, good morning and good afternoon, and welcome to the VCLS webinar titled Deep Dive into FDA's Expedited Programs for Drug Development.
So this is a high-level overview of the various programs that we will be discussing today. The names are all up there, and if you look in the dark blue row, I've notated the year that the designation or the approval pathway first came into effect. So you'll see Fast Track goes back a long ways, 98. Priority Review was implemented in 1992. Breakthrough 2012, RMAT 2017. Accelerated approval also came about in 1992. It was FDA issued regulations that allowed companies to use these mechanisms in those years. So next we'll go to the first one on the list there, that's Fast Track designation. This is based, like I said, it's based on non-clinical or very early stage clinical data. It's intended, the drug has to be intended to treat a life-threatening or serious condition, as we earlier defined, and the potential to address unmet medical need.
So we will now talk about another very beneficial program, which is the Breakthrough Therapy Designation. In order to qualify for this program, like Fast Track, you must have a candidate therapy that must address a serious or life-threatening illness. But unlike the information that could support Fast Track designation, which could include theoretical rationale, mechanistic rationale, or evidence of non-clinical activity, as described by Mark, BTD requires early clinical evidence that the treatment may represent substantial improvement over available therapies on at least one clinically significant endpoint.
Yeah, well, this is a fairly new one. It was, I think, first implemented in 2017. So there's very little data on this. A couple of important points is that the product has to meet the definition of a regenerative medicine therapy. And that's much like in Europe, ATMPs, it's basically either a cell or a gene therapy product only. It does not apply to small molecules. It also does not apply to recombinant proteins or monoclonal antibodies or vaccines. So it's very sort of limited applicability, but it's very important. The product has to be intended, obviously, to treat, modify, reverse, or cure a serious condition, and has the potential to address an unmet medical need. And this one, like I said, we've said all of us have, it applies to every one of the programs that we're talking about today. All of the expedited programs have this as something they're eligible for. They don't necessarily, they're not guaranteed to get it, but most likely they will, and most often they do. So again, this one has been around since 1992, so we definitely in industry know how to manage this one. But the product has to treat a serious condition or provide a significant improvement in safety or effectiveness over standard products that are out there already. It can be also approved if it eliminates or reduces a treatment-limiting drug reaction. You know, sometimes if you know, like with injectable products, for instance, some people may get localized skin reactions where the, you know, the IV goes in. And if you can come up with a formulation that doesn't cause that, or you can come up with a different dosage form, then that's a way around that, and it would get you potentially priority review.
So we will now talk about accelerated approval pathway. Unlike the previous programs, this one is not a designation, but it's a pathway. So the FDA instituted this accelerated approval program to initially allow for earlier approval of drugs that treat serious conditions such as HIV or cancer, and that fill an unmet medical need based on a surrogate endpoint. So to qualify for an accelerated approval, the drug must be intended to treat a serious condition and must provide a meaningful advantage over available therapies.